Sahana bhavatu Sahanau bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May Brahman protect us, may he guide us, may he give us strength and right understanding. May love and harmony be with us all. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Vedantasara of Sadananda Yogendra. In our last class, we talked about 8 limbs of yoga, which are conducive to attain samadhi. Samadhi is the highest experience, where the knower, knowledge and the knowable become one. The subject and object become one. The whole phenomenon, this whole universe disappears along with all its problems. If you know how to vanish this world, all problems will vanish and you become free. How to do it? You see, there is no friction between Brahman and ignorance. They can stay side by side. Example, snake and poison. The snake has poisons in both its fangs. It is there, deadly poison. But the snake is not affected at all. It has full control over the fangs. The friction is with Brahmakara vritti and ignorance. The moment you say, I am Brahman, at that time, this ignorance from the mind goes away. A small patch of cloud can cover the entire sun instantly, but it does not cover the whole sun. The part of the sun which is instantly, we do not see it. Just a small patch of cloud. But the sun shines in Chicago, in Denver, in Houston, in California, all other places. But in St. Louis is overcast. I cannot see the sun. Similarly, Brahman is all-pervading, self-luminous. But I do not see, I do not experience Brahman because I have a thick cloud over my mind. Watch yourself. When your mind is covered with tamas, 3 gunas, tamas is laziness, dullness, inertia. At that time you have no intention to lead a spiritual life. You are just happy. You have no effort, just eat, sleep and be merry, that kind of life. Tamasic mind. No zeal, no inspiration inside. Just, I must pass my days. When the mind is full of rajas, you are very active. And that brings all prosperity in this world. You become very prosperous. You become very rich. In whatever line, you are highly educated, highly qualified, great musician, great singer, all great writer, all this thing comes from rajas. When the mind is full of Sattva Guna, then you feel, I shall work for God. I shall meditate long hours. I shall try to attain Samadhi. When the mind is Sattva Guna, you have this kind of feeling, this kind of desires. Sometimes seeing your desires, you know where is your mind. Very, very interesting. When this mind is try to encompass Brahman, God, Brahman has no form, mind has form. When the mind tries to imagine Brahman, mind is matter, you see, mind cannot imagine. It is the light which is associated, consciousness associated with the mind. With that mind I try to understand, try to realize Brahman. At that time, this reflected mind has the reflected light. So this reflected light is overpowered by the original light, the source of light. At that time, mind dissolves. That ego consciousness, your ego dissolves, only consciousness remains. Then these two consciousness, the individual consciousness and cosmic consciousness become one. That is Samadhi. This room space, when you break four walls and the roof, it becomes vast space. At that time, you do not call it a room space or a jar space. It becomes the cosmic space. Same thing happens. You are holding a little consciousness, I am holding a little consciousness, limited by body, mind, organism. But actually it is infinite consciousness. You know, when you feel that way, you cannot hate anybody. I cannot hate you. Same God, same all infinite consciousness is within you, within me. At that time, there is no Christian, Hindu, Jew, Muslim, nothing. Only consciousness. All this, I am American, I am Indian, I am woman, I am man, all these differences disappear. All these differences when you are in the body and the mind. In Samadhi, all these differences disappear. The obstacles to Samadhi and their removal. Evamaisanginau nirvikalpaisa laya vikshipa kashayo rasaswada lakshana chattaro vigna sambhavanti. The nirvikalpa Samadhi, of which these are the steps, has four obstacles: torpidity, distraction, attachment, and enjoyment. First, layastabod akhanja bostu anavalambayanena chittavrittir nidra. Torpidity, laya, is the lapse of the mental state into sleep because of the failure to rest on the Absolute. It is the result of laziness or fatigue. You know, sometimes you may find some of your friends may criticize you if you practice meditation. Oh, what are you doing? You will be crazy. You may end up in the mental hospital if you practice meditation. I remember one girl in California wanted to be a nun, and her parents are so worried, thinking that she would end up in the mental hospital because she was not dating any boys. Some people have very strange ideas, you know. Second thing may happen. You may be very fearful. Perhaps I may die. If I attain Samadhi, I shall lose my individual consciousness. My individuality will go away. That is death. Some people think that way. Even Swami Vivekananda thought that way. When Sri Ramakrishna said to Vivekananda, look, here is a cup of syrup and you are an ant. How will you sip that syrup? Swamiji says, I shall sit on the brink of the cup and slowly try to sip the syrup. Sri Ramakrishna said, why? No, I shall be very careful, because if I fall into the syrup, I shall die. A little ant, the moment you soak into syrup, the ant dies. All my feet and all my body will be soaked into syrup, and I shall never be able to get out from that. So I shall die. Immediately Sri Ramakrishna corrected him. Oh no, my son. In the ocean of Satchidananda, nobody dies. One becomes immortal. Even Vivekananda was afraid. I shall lose my individuality. We are very much particular about to preserve our individualities. I shall die. Sometimes people think that perhaps I shall be crazy if I meditate too much. Sri Ramakrishna was telling one devotee, let people see that you have lost your mind by thinking of God. You are thinking all the worldly garbage day and night, you think that you are normal. Let me see that you have become crazy, thinking only about God. Swamiji said, Sri Ramakrishna used to make that remark, this world is a huge lunatic asylum. Here everybody is crazy. Some are mad after women or men, or some are mad after money, some are seeking name and fame. I am mad after God. Everybody is mad in this world. Nobody is normal, including myself. Don't think that you are normal. According to abnormal psychology, everybody has some kind of angularities, you see. Do you know what is the difference between sane and insane? A sane has control over his emotion, and the insane does not have any control. That is the only difference. When you're in this society, in this situation, you have control over yourself. You can check. You have discrimination. And the insane does not have that thing. He sometimes writes, sometimes says something he does not know. Crazy. Sometimes I'm talking about lawyer, this torpidity. Sometimes people procrastinate. Oh, I don't feel good today. Let me lie down. I shall meditate tomorrow. Always they're postponing. Oh, no, I work too much in the office. I shall not go to Vedanta tonight. Let me watch a little TV and relax. There's a beautiful word, relax. We program ourselves. The moment you say to your body that let me not go today, weather is not very good, relax. Body immediately obeys, yes, you are right, lie down. It is amazing how this mind and body work together, you know. But if you tell your body, no, you will have to go, body says, all right, sir, I shall obey you. It is really amazing how we interact, you know. If you do not use your brain, your mind, you will lose those faculties, you see. I remember one of my friends used to practice this non-dualistic Vedanta. He won't go to the shrine. He won't meditate. I am Brahman. That was his view. So one day his guru saw him and said, "Hey, you do not go to the shrine, you don't meditate?" "No, sir." "Why?" "I am Brahman." You are Brahman. From today you sit in my room, morning and evening. You sit with me. Then the Guru told the disciple, "My boy, listen. If you hold many good habits, they will stay with you. They will shape your character. They will shape your habits. They will make you a perfect human being. And if you give up these good habits, they will leave you, and you will be in deep trouble in your life. Always try to hold various good habits. You will find your good habits are your friends. Good routine. Morning, I shall sit 1 hour. I shall meditate, I shall read. Evening, I shall meditate, I shall read. I shall go for holy company." In this way, constantly, if you keep yourself busy with this holy atmosphere, holy setting, holy conversation, holy studying, holy meditation, holy thoughts, you are bound to be holy. And vice versa. Really, that is the way it works. Laya. Alashyavashato nidra. At that time you feel lazy and fall asleep. Sleepy mind. That is laya. There is no strength. There is no zeal. Second, vikshipa. Akhanja vastu anavalammanena opi chittavritti savikalpaka. No, not that one. Layo vikshipa abhave opi. No. Akhanja vastu anavalammanena chittavrittir annavalammanam vikshipa. Distraction, vikshipa, is the resting of the mental state on things other than the absolute because of the failure to rest on it. It is like a fly. A fly sometimes sits on the garbage, on the filth, sometimes on your food, sometimes on the cake. It sits many places, sometimes good things, sometimes bad things. So mind also sometimes rests on very bad things, worldly things, sometimes on spiritual things. It's like a fly, moves back and forth. Big sheep. Sometimes it happens that you are trying to concentrate on the Atman or God. It rests on God, and sometimes due to your bad tendencies, bad samskara, it comes back again, it sits on the sense objects. Sometimes God, sometimes sense objects. Sometimes God, sometimes sense objects. That means vikshepa. Mind is restless. Sometimes you may see that here is a bird is flying to go on the top of the mountain. So it flies sometimes, then you say, "Oof, so high. Whereas my wings will be tired, I may fall." No, I can't make it. Again it comes back and sits on the perhaps ground. Sometimes time to time you see that your tremendous speed, you are trying to go this. No. Again it comes back to the sense objects. That is called vikshepa. Sri Ramakrishna told a parable to his devotees. There were two farmers wanted to bring water to his field from the river, connecting with the canal. Because 3 years they did not have any rain, drought, no crop, no harvest. The first farmer was digging, and it was lunchtime. His wife came and said, "Hi, it is lunchtime, please come, have your lunch." "Oh, no, I must bring water, otherwise, you see, we shall not get any harvest." "Oh, you can do it tomorrow, come, have lunch." The first farmer comes home, eats lunch, takes rest, cannot bring water to his field. The second farmer digs, and his wife sends her daughter, says, "Get away, without bringing water I shall not eat." Then wife comes, he chases his wife, "If you come near me, I shall break your head with my spade. Get out, I must bring water to my field." "You stupid woman, you don't understand. Last 3 years we did not have any crop. All of us will starve to death. We must bring crop. We must bring water so that we can have crop." The wife got scared and ran home. In the evening, he cuts the tunnel. Water gets in. He's so happy, seeing the water is coming into his tank. Then he returns home, tells his wife, "Give me some oil." He takes oil and then takes bath, and then, "Now give me my food." He eats food, smokes hubble bubble, goes to bed. He's happy. That is called, Sri Ramakrishna says, that is called determination. That I must achieve something in my life. I must attain God. This kind of determination brings success. When sometimes these people go, they're like fallen yogis. They go certain distance, again comes back and enjoys the world and forgets the goal. The third obstacle is called kashaya. Layo vikshipa abhaveopi chitta vrittir ragadi vasanaya stubdhi bhavad akhanda vastu anavalambanam kashaya. Attachment, kashaya, is the failure of the mental state to rest on the absolute, owing to the numbness brought on by impressions due to attachment even when there is no torpidity or distraction. This person does not have any lethargy, laziness, does not have any distraction. He goes on the way, he stops because of his past desires. Let me give an example. You want to see President Clinton in the White House. You enter through the gate. All of a sudden, the Secret Service people stopped you. No, you cannot have visit with the president. From St. Louis, you have gone to Washington, D.C., spending so much money to see the president. They said, no, you can't see president. So you are just dumbfounded, what to do? That's called kashaya. You have gone quite a distance, there somebody stopped you. Sometimes it happens, perhaps you are going home, all of a sudden you see the panoramic view of the cloud, perhaps you are a poet and the mountain and some nice thing, and you just forgot. You could not reach home. Just seeing the sunset and the beauty of nature. That is called Koshaya. Koshaya means that the stage where mind neither goes up nor goes down. It is a very bad state. Sometimes you can experience it. I don't like it. Neither mind is going down nor going up. Just stalemate, stagnant. That stagnation is called death. Sometimes we stagnate. Some people got married, what to do. Why did I get married? I am now stuck. That stuck position is called Koshaya. You are stuck. It happens sometimes. Mind is not functioning right. Heavy. Why? Because of this hidden desires make the mind heavy. You do not see it, it is there. Desires, subtle desires, make the mind heavy. It is good to understand these things, That time mind is colored. And we want to remove that color from the mind so that I can see the light. Well, what are those desires? Three desires. Bajja putradite, in external, wife, children, family, money, all these things. Second, mental attachment. Third, sanskara rupa, past impressions, very subtle, invisible. At that time, my mind is just like a stalled car. If you push it, it goes. If it does not push, if you do not push, it does not move. This you will have to understand, on the path of your samadhi, highest experience, if you read Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress, it's a great English prose allegory. If you read it, he discusses these things elaborately. What are the obstacles? Various obstacles. Lust, gluttony, desire, greed, infatuation, various kinds of obstacles in the path of God. I remember in our village, sometimes a rainy season when we used to go to our school, on the road, sometimes in knee-deep water. You will have to cross mud and water, muddy village, muddy road. Sometimes some leech will grab your feet and they suck blood. And they will fall it automatically when they're full of blood. They cannot suck anymore, they will drop automatically. So when we cross any water, some passages, we boys, we used to check each other, do you have any leech? Sometimes I remember in a village, sometimes we used to put salt. If we put salt, immediately the leech will drop, will fall. Otherwise it bleeds. I remember when up to 7th grade, 8th grade, I had to go through this village path, winter time, rainy season, 3-4 months, monsoon time. You will have to walk 1 mile, some places mud, rain, water, very difficult. So your mind becomes just like a leech, full of blood and cannot move. They drop automatically. Sometimes human mind is that condition, too many desires. So it's just like a sponge full of water. It just drops and cannot move. Sadananda Yogendra is telling these are the obstacles in your spiritual path. You see, it is extremely important to know the obstacles. Then you can you can have an antidote. You can counteract it. They will tell you how to counteract these obstacles. Next, akhanda vastu anavalambanenapi chittavritti savikalpaka ananda swadanam rasaswada samadhi arambasamayi savikalpaka ananda swadanam va. Enjoyment, rasaswada, is the tasting by the mental state of the bliss of savikalpa samadhi, owing to the failure to rest on the absolute. Or it may mean continuing to taste the bliss of savikalpa samadhi while taking up the nirvikalpa samadhi. Dvaita Raspan. Rasashad, Rasher Ashad. At the time you got the taste of a spiritual experience. You have the vision of God, Christ, or Ramakrishna, or Krishna, and you are happy. You are really happy. That's an obstacle. Even the vision of God is an obstacle. Do you know why? Today you have vision of God, next day you may not have any vision, you are miserable. So your mind will fluctuate. Vedanta wants to knock out your duality. Where there is duality, there is fear. Where there is duality, that is ignorance, that is Maya. In the non-dualistic experience, you will become sugar. We want to taste sugar. We don't like to be sugar. Dvaita. Sometimes bees sit in the flower and sip honey. And if the bee is absorbed in sipping honey, in the evening, some flowers close their petals during sunset. So the bees will be caught inside the flower and the bees will die. Because it was sipping honey. The taste brought a disaster to the bee. Sri Ramakrishna told his experience about the vision. He said, when my guru asked me to concentrate on Brahman, Nirgun Brahman, I could not. Because the moment I closed my eyes, I saw the Divine Mother. My guru became very upset when he said that, why can you not go to Samadhi? Well, I see the Mother. I love my Mother. No, you must transcend that form. Name and form are Maya. So his guru took a broken piece of glass and pressed between his eyebrows. Concentrate here. He concentrated. He said that I cut the Maya with the sword of knowledge. Did he cut actually? Actually he did not cut. He transcended that name and form and merged into the infinite, where there is no name and form. And 3 days he was absorbed in that Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Sanatana Goswami, a disciple of Chaitanya, was an illumined saint of Vrindavan. He built a temple of Krishna. And his disciple one day, after offering food, was fanning the deity. And seeing the beauty of the image, this young monk stopped fanning. His hand stopped. Sanatana Goswami immediately asked the disciple, "You are not fit to worship the Lord. You are selfish. You forgot to serve God for your own selfish motive. You are enjoying God's beauty and forgot to serve Him. It is your selfishness. I don't need a selfish disciple." Just think of that. It is called Rasa Shada. He got the glimpse, the beautiful face of Lord Krishna and forgot. Anena vigna chatushtayena virohitam chittam nirvato deepavat achalam sat akhanja chaitanya matram avatishtati yada tada nirvikalpako samadhiti uchati taduktam laye sambadayet chittam vikshittam samayet punaha sakashayam vijaniyat samapraptam na chalayet nasvadayet rasam tatra nissangah prajnaya bhavet yatha deepo nivatastho ningate sopama smrita iti cha. When the mind, free from these four obstacles, rests unmoved like the flame of a lamp sheltered from the wind as one with absolute consciousness, it is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Thus it has been said, when the mind is torpid, rouse it. When it is distracted, bring it back to calmness. When it becomes attached, be aware of it. When it is established in equipoise, do not distract it anymore. Do not linger on the bliss that comes from the Shavikalpa Samadhi, but be unattached through discrimination. As a lamp sheltered from the wind does not flicker, so is a yogi's controlled mind. Beautiful. Nivato deepavat achalam. The yogis imagine this Brahman like the flame of a lamp, unflickering flame of a lamp in a windless place. That is the object of meditation. I remember when I was working on my hippie book, Meditation and Its Methods, I asked one monk in Trubhuku, he is an artist, well, I want a book cover depicting this unflickering flame of an oil lamp. That you see, Meditation and Its Methods front page, that is my idea. I want an unflickering flame of an oil lamp. A yogi's mind should be like that. It does not flicker, does not move. It is absorbed in God consciousness. What happens at that time? You transcend space, time, and causation. In the deep meditation, in Samadhi, you do not know where you are. You do not know how long you are in that condition. You lose completely outer consciousness. Believe what good is that, Swami? To have that experience. Ananda, bliss. Second, peace, tremendous peace. No fear. Do you know what does the Upanishad says? Na bibhiti kadachana, na bibhiti kutashana. You will never be fearful in your life. All people live in fear. I may lose money, I may lose beauty, I may die, I may be divorced. All people in this world are living in fear. I may be sick. Who will look after me? All people in this world live in fear. Na bibhiti kadachana, he is never fearful. Na bibhiti kutoshana, he is not afraid from anybody either. That experience comes from this experience. Anandi bhavati, you will float in bliss. That is the goal. We need samadhi. Vikaro hetu suti chitamsi naja vikriyante taivadhira. You are surrounded by temptation. You see everything, but your mind is unaffected. You will never be tempted. You will never succumb to Maya, ignorance. The verse I just told in Sanskrit, it was Parvati, the Divine Mother, was meditating on Shiva so that she can have Shiva as her husband. So Shiva appeared before, she was meditating. And here is a beautiful girl in that secluded place, none else. His mind is absorbed in God consciousness. A beautiful girl cannot tempt him. Nothing can tempt Lord Shiva. Sometimes you understand, desire for external objects you understand. Your inner desire, which had not yet manifested, you can see that you have some desire inside, unmanifested desire. But that subtle desire, which is in the causal state, you do not see it. Do you know what example they gave? Here is an handkerchief. You spray a little perfume. That perfume is there. You do not see it, but it is there. It is tinged with that fabric. So when the mind is tinged with that subtle desires, you cannot see it, but they are there. That is weakening your mind. Subtle desires, invisible desires. One of our young Swamis went to Swami Chetanananda. I am giving a series of lectures on spiritual treasures, letters of Swami Chetanananda. The Swami went and said to Chetanananda, Swami, could you tell me how can I attain peace? I want to attain peace in my life. And the Swami said, repeat this mantra. Vairagya. Vairagyam eva abhayam. Vairagyam eva abhayam. Vairagyam eva abhayam. Renunciation alone makes one fearless. Vairagyam, renunciation, non-attachment. Eva, verily, truly. Abhayam, fearless. Practice it. If your mind is free from attachment, your mind will be tremendously powerful. That mind will be one-pointed, dry. Sri Ramakrishna gave that illustration. Here is a matchbox, damped, water perhaps soak that matchbox. If you try to ignite, your matchsticks will go one after another. You won't make any light from that matchstick. That is the condition of most of the people's mind in this world. And if the matchbox is dry, one scratch will bring the light. So when the mind is free from desires and doubts and attachments, that mind is dry. And in single friction will bring the light, illumination. Titti Vapokhi, Vairag. Vivek and Vairag. Discrimination and dispassion. We need self-effort. Then grace will come. There is a folklore in Vedanta tradition. A bird laid eggs on the shore of the ocean. And during the high tide, the current took away the eggs. So the couple was very unhappy because they lost their eggs. So these two birds, husband and wife, decided to dry the ocean. How to dry the ocean? They both are jumping into the ocean and shedding their water with their wings, on the seashore. So they're jumping into the ocean and shaking their wings and drying. That is the way they are drying the ocean. Constantly they're thinking that is the way they can dry the ocean and can rescue their eggs. So at that time Vishnu, the great God, was riding on his carrier. His carrier is Garuda, the great bird, the king of the birds, the divine bird who carries Vishnu. So Vishnu said, "Hey Garuda, what is the matter? Your folk are trying to dry the ocean." Poor kids do not know how deep is the ocean. Infinite ocean. These poor birds are trying to dry the ocean. Why don't you go and help them? So Garuda said, "All right, Lord." Garuda went and frightened the ocean with his divine wings, because he is the carrier of Vishnu, the creator of the universe. He frightened the ocean. Ocean was so scared. "Oh, don't you hit us anymore. You hit me anymore. I am returning the eggs right now." So the ocean returned the eggs to the birds, and Garuda helped them to rescue. That is called grace. Divine grace comes to our life when we have this self-effort, tremendous self-effort, like the titty birds who are planning and trying to dry the whole ocean. It is a folklore, Up to this tonight, if you wish, you can ask me questions.
Mommy, how do we get rid of these subtle desires? How do we bring them to the surface, even know that they're there?
Those, it is subtle desires. First, there are two ways we can get rid of them. Either you can soak them with devotion, love for God, then those will be very ineffective, If you put a lot of syrup and coat them and cover them, bury them with thick syrup of devotion, then those desires cannot have the wings to come on the surface plane of the mind. They will be buried there. Second method is knowledge, fire of knowledge. That burning renunciation, this knowledge burns those desires. You see, some desires will always be there. Don't think that when all desires will go, then I shall be illumined. Do you know what happens with that? We shall discuss in our next class, the Jivan Mukta, that how he tackles his past karma and past desires. You see, he does not cultivate new desires. The old desires which are buried there, in the deep layer of the mind. At that time, he does not be there. I am not going to see it anymore. Just God thoughts, spiritual thoughts, let it bury it. And then, when I am illumined, they will be ineffective. They will die. That we shall talk in our next class, that prarabdha karma, unfulfilled action, unfulfilled desires, what happens to them. The mind, some desires will always. Do you know how I look at my life? My teacher taught me that way. Here is an electric bulb, 100 watts. Or 1,000 watts. If there are 2 or 3 patches of tar, deep black on the top, does it affect the light? It doesn't. Though the 10% of the whole bulb is not coming, but it does not affect you. You are getting 90% light. So 10% Rajas and Tamas will not affect you. They will be wiped out. The moment you will die, they will be ineffective. It will not work. Yes?
I think I understand the gist of tonight's class. What confounds me is reading sort of the opposite in the great master today. When Master became Todapuri's teacher, and Toda got very sick. After experiencing Nirvikalpa Samadhi, which I thought at that point one knew everything, but he needed still to learn something, devotion for Mother. So he got sick. By God's grace, he got sick in order to learn that lesson. And that story in and of itself makes sense to me, but what doesn't make sense is that if Nirvikalpa is the highest knowledge, then it's sort of the same thing as tonight's class, that you can't get stuck at Salakapa Samadhi, you need to move on. But once I thought you were all the way on, why would you have to move again to come back to Salakapa Samadhi?
You will have to understand this way, absolute and relative. In the absolute plane, that is means in the Nirvikalpa plane, Nirvikalpa means no kalpana, mind is not functioning. There is no mind. Mind means chitta vritti is there is a Brahmakara chitta vritti, I am Brahman. So in that condition, after attaining that condition, when he comes back in the physical plane, he has hunger, he has thirst like you, natural karma behavior like you. But at the same time, he knows from the bottom of his heart, I am not the doer. His ego is completely effaced, but body is functioning. That is a Jivan Mukta's condition. The thing you are talking about, you see, even God, when he comes, just in the afternoon I was reading, Jesus cried out on the cross, Lord, Lord, why thou hast forsaken me? Hurry, he is an incarnation of God. He is, even for the time being, he forgot. In that is called Narolila. When God enters into the human form, he behaves like a human being. Even look, and then in the next time, immediately he says, Lord, thy will be done. I commend my spirit to thee. One few seconds ago he says, Lord, thou hast forsaken me. Next he is telling, I commend my spirit to you, to thee, Lord. Father, I commend my spirit to thee. Same person. Do you know how do you look at it? Human and divine, human and divine. That is his human aspect, and this is his divine aspect. So as long when he enters the human body, he plays in both planes. Pointing to John, he was telling, look after this woman. Pointing to Mary, his mother. His duty. I am the son, I am crucified. I cannot look after my mother anymore. You, John, you look after my mother. You know, these things, it is very human. Very human. That is beautiful. That he has human feeling. Like you and me. If your mother is sick or anything like that, don't you feel to serve your mother? This is very human. So, Totapuri, this is Jivan Mukta Purush. He attained Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Even Sri Ramakrishna suffered 6 months from that blood dysentery. Those things, you know, at the same time Sri Ramakrishna said, inside me there are two persons. The mother and the devotee. The mother is really happy. And the devotee has cancer. And the devotee has this pain. But mother is happy. He knows he can go back and forth. There we can't. We are stuck. That I was trying to explain. We are stuck in this body and body consciousness and mind consciousness.
Well, by Master's illustration, I mean, why Tota came
Yes.
was the purpose of tonight's story.
Tota came to give that knowledge to...
To Nirvikalpa.
Yes.
So, how did the opposite? How can one get to the highest and miss something along the way?
Oh, it happens, you see, that is called... You will have to understand what Ramakrishna told him. Tota was telling Sri Ramakrishna, you know, you must clean your brass pot every day, otherwise it will not shine. Sri Ramakrishna said, if the pot is made of gold, you don't need to shine. So Sri Ramakrishna was gold, and Totapuri was brass pot. So he needed that Nirvikalpa Samadhi practicing every day. Sometimes when you have a very sick, at that time you cannot practice it. So mind comes into the physical plane. That happened. It's Swami Turiyananda also. Sometimes he used to say, I can get rid of disease if I can meditate a little long hours. Through willpower I can get rid of all these things. But mother won't let me. You see, sometimes those things, that is his prarabdha karma. He will have to go through this prarabdha. Masatoma satgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrittorma amritam gamaya, abira virma yadi, rudra jatte dakshinamukam, tenamam pahi nityam, om shanti shanti shanti. Lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, lead us from death to immortality, light us